God keeps bringing us back to that January the 16th. Focus on this man. Don't forget this man. Remember this man and what he did. Certainly we have a work today as well, and we have new revelation today, but it all is built on the Elijah foundation. You want to get through to God? You want to have more energy? You want to have more power, more inspiration? Well, here's the way to get it. God says there's even a book of remembrance. You've got to remember. And those people that remembered God, well, He has a book with their names in it. He's so impressed by the fact that they remember what they were taught. And 95% of God's people have forgotten. You see, there are times when we just need to remember. And remember that book of remembrance.
And if we are using God's spirit of cooperation and work together with one another, how much more can we accomplish for God? How much can we compress that critical path in the job that God gives us to do? We can't let that spirit be quenched, but instead we have to fan it into flames all year round. Malachi's message says the following at the start of the book. Why a book of remembrance? This is not the book of life. This is commenting on Malachi 3 and verse 16. This is not the book of life. This is a special book which concerns a unique group of people who fear the eternal and fellowship a lot. Well, if they fear the eternal, what do you think they fellowship about? Isn't it the messages that God feeds them? It is a book of remembrance because they remembered what they were taught. That is why God spares them from the great tribulation and gives them a headquarters position in His kingdom forever. The Laodiceans fail to escape because they forget and turn to a lukewarm message. God remembers the Philadelphian group because they remembered Him. How much focus was there during this past Feast of Tabernacles on what God did through Mr. Armstrong and on how this little group just raised the ruins? Brethren, we remembered what we were taught. We truly had the greatest feast ever, and that we want to hasten the return of Jesus Christ and see the fulfillment of that wonderful time for the sake of all humanity, not just for us. Romans 9 and verse 25 says, as He said also in Hosea, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, that which was not beloved. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living God. Isaiah also cried concerning Israel, though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. Just a remnant. How are they going to be saved, brethren? Because of the work that goes out today. The work that you've been called to support. For He will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Eternal make upon the earth. God wants to see this work compressed, this critical path. And we have a part to play in that. We can do that today, brethren, but it's going to take faith. Verse 29, and Isaiah said before, except the Eternal the Lord of Sabbath has left us a seed, we had been as Sodom and made like unto Gomorrah. What shall we say then? That the Gentiles which followed not after righteousness have attained to righteousness, even the righteousness which is of faith? But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, has not attained to the law of righteousness. Wherefore? Because they sought it not by faith, but as it were by the works of the law, for they stumbled at that stumbling stone. Right? It was not a work of faith. God wants to see a work of faith being done, so He can shorten that work and finish it. Here's what the Ezra-Nehemiah booklet said. Ezra did his part and looked to God for the help and support he needed. God generously supplied that need. Notice here, even the carnal people around Jerusalem furthered the people and the work. When God's true ministers and people live by faith, great miracles happen. God's Philadelphia church has experienced many miracles. We're going to need many more to accomplish the job God has given us to do. Imitating Ezra's faith will ensure that God gives us the miracles. Brethren, we need that faith. Remember that Mr. Flurry, as he closed the opening night message, signed off saying, "Work very hard and have a joyful Feast of Tabernacles. Make absolutely certain this is your greatest feast ever." Hopefully we all took note of that. Hopefully we all made that our goal. But let's not stop now. Let's continue to work as our Father in heaven works. Let's do all that we can to put into practice all that we learned at the feast, and to charge forward to hasten the day when we can truly say, "Behold your God."